Good afternoon, and how you doing?
I am
Go ahead.
I am doing amazing. Just sitting here, working on some artwork. How about yourself?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm honored to have you here with me today. This is my first broadcast, and I want to thank you for accepting my invitation to a conversation. And so, right now, I want to tell the listening audience a little bit about you. This young man that I have here today is an up and coming artist and new to the Brunswick area. He's raw, he's poetic, thought provoking are a few words that describe the artwork of Rodderick Davis. Born in Miami, the 20-year-old Florida native work is heavily influenced by the culture of hip hop, mixed with inspiration from his life growing up with family and friends in South Coastal Georgia. His work encapsulates the everyday struggles and experiences among urban adolescents, vividly and poetically illustrating the thoughts and feelings that stir them through storytelling, love, faith, and unity being the central theme. His overall goal is to inspire and give hope to those in search of a brighter future. That's excellent. That's excellent. And before I delve into your talent and skills that you were blessed with, I would like you to tell me a little bit about your background.
Okay. Well, I grew up in well, I was born in Miami. That's where I am originally from, and I moved here, Brunswick, to Brunswick when I was around 10 years old, and this is where practically where I spent most of my life. Um, where I spent most of my life at. Like, and that's, I think that's why the city holds such a special place um, to me, because it's like that's where everything like every situation that I found myself in, like that impacted my life, has happened in Brunswick. That's where I discovered my love for art. Um, you know, it just been so much that have come from being in this town, um, and it's a blessing. I feel blessed to be from a place that is so, even though it's small, you know, the the community is together. It's just something about it that I feel like a lot of cities don't have. Um, so I can definitely say that's what influenced a lot of my artwork, is just the people, just growing up around them, not only the people but my life, and just the people I love. Like, that's what my art is all about. My art is all about life. My art is all about people that, like, just the everyday struggle. I feel like my art represents the everyday, the day in life of an average, 22-year-old, you know, I don't know, kid working at Walmart, or just going to school full time, or the average, single mom, just, working two jobs. Like, it's all about life, me. So that's.
How old were you when you first recognized that God blessed you with the talent to draw?
Oh, I've been drawing most of my life, but I didn't like realize I was good until I got around, I would say, 15, and that's when I started to give paint a try, because I wanted to find a new medium to express myself, and I would just like go on TV, just looking, for just searching, and I came across this guy. His name was Yarnell. Um, he was painting scenery and stuff like that. So I went out, begged my mom to get me some canvases, some paints. I went out, got all that, started painting. And then next thing I know, I stumbled on this guy named Bob Ross, who introduced me to oil paint. And it took off from there. I fell in love with it. And everyone else around me started to take notice. When I was just, I can't say I was even 6 months in before people just started to take notice and say, like, man, you got a gift. Like, you should really pursue that. And it stuck with me. It stuck with me. It made me be like, okay, I'm gonna see where this goes. And then when I turned, I would say 18, 19, that's when I was like, okay, like, yeah, I can make something of this. Because during that time, that's when people started actually commissioning me to do stuff. Like, they would, commission me to do paintings of their loved ones, their siblings, stuff like that. So from there, that's when I knew, like, yeah, like I can do this.
So I met you about 2 years ago then at the Ritz Theater. Was that your very first art showing?
That was not my very first art showing. That was actually my second one. My first one was at the Brunswick Library, at the Martians and Glen Library. That was my first show. But I would say the second show at the Ritz really is really what I would say took me to the next level as an artist. Because my first show, I didn't feel like I came the way I should have came. Like, right. Of course I love the work. Everybody loved the work. And, I still love the work, but I felt like I had more to offer. So when I got the opportunity to do this second show at the Ritz, I said, okay, I got to go in and I got to go big. I wanted all the work to be bigger. I wanted all the canvases to be bigger. Like, I really wanted to showcase. And also, like, my art has always been about telling stories. So, that show was the show that I really, like, zoned in on my storytelling abilities.
And I'm telling you, when I seen your artwork at the Ritz, I was amazed that you were a young gentleman. I thought that was someone that's been doing it for a long time, and it spoke to me. I have been to a few art museums, and I love art. And when I saw your work, it spoke to me. It was inspirational. I've been living in this area for 35 years, and I've never seen African-American art displayed and seen it so revealing. I mean, it looks like if you can literally look at some of your artwork and you can say, that looks like my aunt, or that looks like somebody, or I understand that. It's inspiring. It's awesome. What can you remember the first thing that you commissioned that you did?
My very first commission. Yes. Let's see. Oh, that was so long ago. That was probably when I was 18 and I just started getting into it.
Okay.
I think it was actually a picture of this girl and her sister. Her sister, she had a twin sister, and her sister was going in for chemotherapy. So I did a painting of both of them. That was my first commission. And honestly, it just came from me posting my work online. Like, it just came from that. Like, people see your work, and they share it, and they see it, and they're like, oh man, I gotta get this guy to paint me, or paint something for us. And that's just how it's been. So social media has definitely been a big influence, just on my art journey and everything.
Well, you recently had an art showing at the local library in June.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The whole month of June, and I went, and I seen a few pictures, and I took them with my cell phone, but then I didn't want to get charged for it. infringing on somebody's artwork, because you know people are touchy about that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
to ask you, can I have that piece? But you did one with a rose coming out of the brick wall, and the shadow was in a puddle of water. What inspired you to do that particular piece of art?
Okay, so I thought about the rose. It was really inspired by myself, my own life. I would say, like, when I created that, like, I'm working on like an art show. I'm working on a show right now. So that original piece was supposed to be a part of that show. And that was actually one of the first pieces I did where I wanted to kind of take a break from doing portraits, because I do a lot of portraits. Like, most of my pieces are portraits. But I wanted to take a break from that and just kind of do something different, but also do something that kind of is about like where I am as an artist, and where I am in my life, where you don't really see that much, you know, as far as like opportunity, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, you have to use the little bit of resources you have in order to, you know, bring yourself up. And of course, I was inspired by Tupac line. You know, as far as About the Rose, I can't quote it verbatim, but that's what inspired it as well. And if you actually look at that piece and look at the rose, the puddle under it, the rose is actually crying. Yeah. So I always wanted to do a piece like, okay, how can I do a piece where I'm making the rose like cry, which just represents like the pain of coming up, the pain of going through and coming through like the rough struggles, but yet you still maintain your sense of who you are. Of course, your petals may be damaged, you know, and you may not be the best rose or whatever, but at the end of the day, you're still a rose, you know, and you can't let your surroundings allow you to stop you from growing.
Right. Oh, I like that. I'm gonna have to take a look. Do you still have it? I had to take a look at it again and see where it's coming from.
It actually sold.
Did it?
It actually sold.
That's sold,
awesome. Yeah, right. It sold.
Right. Do you ever have duplicates of your artwork?
No, I've never.
Originals only.
No, I mean, you mean prints?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I have prints. Yeah, I sell prints on my website. As far as duplicates, I thought you were talking about like repainting a painting.
So do you have a portfolio of all your work, of all your artwork that you do?
It's definitely not all of it. Because I do so much. But I do have most of it up on my website. I'm trying to get better at putting stuff up there, and just because like I can hardly, like, I'm hardly able to like update it the way it needs to be updated, because you know, right now at this moment it's really just me. So I'm working on just getting just getting help and you know, as far as like, you know, we're putting that stuff up and promoting and getting more prints out there. But yeah, I do have prints. I do have prints.
What was your first mural that you did for Brunswick?
The first mural that I did for Brunswick was the mural titled "Dreams Have Wings," and that's over across the street from the library. Those who have synced it, those who haven't synced it, it's actually a woman releasing a butterfly. And I would say that piece that specific piece was because they approached me about doing a mural from Brunswick, which is crazy because at that time I've never done a mural like a day in my life. People ask me to do them, but I'm like, nah, I don't do murals. But they approached me, and I just felt like the opportunity was too good not to take it. So, but I know, like, when I did this mural, it had to be something special. It couldn't be something, you know, it had to be something like unique, something that the city hasn't seen before, but still something that's like within my style, you know, something that also tells a story. And I honestly, that's like, actually, that piece that I painted, if you is actually kind of an extension of the show at the Ritz. Like,
Okay.
my mindset going into painting that is the same mindset I had when I was like after finishing up the artwork at the Ritz. So that almost was a painting that probably would have been hanging up at the Ritz, but you know, it was just extension on it, and it's now on the wall.
And when I seen that piece of artwork, when I seen it, it looked like an African American girl sitting in a broken building, a concrete building, looking out of the world outside. And the butterfly looks like she wants to morph into something, and she's contemplating. I mean, when I see your artwork, it is just so inspiring and awesome. It really is. Do you have in your mind different artwork that is, you know, like people have songs up in their head that they want to write constantly when they do a tape with something? So do you have in your mind different art pieces that you have not done yet that you want to do?
Oh yeah, all the time. The hardest part about it is, like, especially when doing this, is just one, finding a reference that like best suits that idea.
Right.
Because like I'll go into, because I tend to paint in like series, like a lot of my paintings will have like a connection like to each other. So I'll go in with the mindset, okay, this is the idea that I want to do. And I want to do it in such a way that it looks like this, or it looks like that, you know. For example, the painting behind me, I went into this with just the mindset, and this is just
we freezing up.
basically like getting their own place, you know, which yeah. So and it's like I said, it's not finished yet, but there's gonna be boxes in the back, from their moving and stuff like that, and which represents something new. That's one of the reasons why I put butterflies in it. There's just a whole bunch of stuff that like I just wanted to put in it that kind of represents my life and where I'm going, where I feel I'm going as an artist, as a person, and just as a man. Where, you know, I'm 22. You know, like, life is changing for me a lot. And it's a like, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. Like, it's a blessing. And I'm just like enjoying it. So that's another, that's another meaning of it. And this is also a double meaning piece too, which I tend to do a lot of those as well, where it'll have one meaning. Well, you can get two meanings from it. You know, this is also a symbol of like letting go as well. Even the butterfly, that's why I feel like the butterfly is so powerful, because the butterfly has to humble itself and allow itself to let go of of who it is in order to transform into something new, you know. But you can't do that unless you let go, you know. And also, you know, be mindful of what you carry over into your new life. Like a lot of the baggage, you know, that you take, make sure it's stuff that, you know, you want to be there. A lot of us, we you know, we ask God for something new, you know, but we still holding on to something that's old, you
Right,
know. So
right. And
so
see, a lot of your artwork is social consciousness of everyday living with people.
yep.
Like you said
Hmm.
in that portrait back there, the ideal of someone moving into whether it's their first place or a new
Yep.
place, or graduating from a starter home to now they're owning a home, and to see the
Yep.
boxes and the butterfly, because I heard the other day about someone never pays attention to the centipede, but it morphs
Yep.
into a butterfly, and that's when people recognize it. So they just don't
Yep.
know how the butterfly became a butterfly. No one's interested in that, and that is so awesome. You recently did a piece
Yep.
for your first time on Facebook Live, which is very controversial in our city, and it's called
Yeah.
Black Matter, Black
Black
Future
Future Matter.
Matters, with the
Hmm.
black guy with the hand with the mask.
Yep.
What influenced you to do that? And it's on the main street that I frequent all the time, and it's
Yeah.
so awesome. What made you come up with that piece of mural?
Well, I had got a call one Friday. I was getting ready to leave out for Atlanta. The next later on that night. And I got a call from this lady, and she said, "Hey, we're with this organization, Fair Fight, and uh, we're looking to we want to do a mural. We're doing murals all across Georgia, and we want to do one in Brunswick, and we want you to do it." And she just said, "But you can do whatever you want, like whatever you choose, but it just like as long as it includes Black Futures Matter and end citizens arrest," which like just like struck a fire in me, because one, I get to do anything visual I want, and two, uh like that subject, you know, just think about it, Black Futures Matter. It
Yes.
resonates with me because one, uh I'm a young man, you know, in this city, and of course I think a lot about, like, for example, stories like Ahmad, where he was young too. Um, you know what life would be like, you know, for my parents, you know, and just for the people that I love. If I wasn't, you know, here, you know, if my life was taken before time, like none of this would, you know, would have happened. So, um, and there's no telling what, you know, what greatness he, you know, could have been, you know, and he is great right now, but there's like, you have no idea the potential he had before his life was taken.
Right.
So, you know, I wanted to do something that kind of resonates with that. So just hearing that statement, Black Futures Matter, it just resonated with me. It just resonated with me. So I ended up taking 2 or 3 days just to come up with the design. And I said to myself, it has to be something like that resonates. It has to be something big. Like, it has to be something different. You know, I don't just want to like do something that's, you know, I want to do something that like has meaning, that has a meaning to it. And of course, just I saw this pic online of just kid just, you know, holding up a fist, and I was like, okay, that's the cover, that's the cover for it. And I went in, did a sketched it out, sent it to them. They loved it. The next day, you know, I was putting it up on the wall.
And like you said, that statement, Black Future Matters, it makes people want to think before they react. whether like a mod, for instance, you know,
Yeah.
before you could have talked to him when you're raising somebody or just communicating or teaching our children. Their future matters, you know, so you just can't disregard them and, you know, leave them on their own. Recently, you came on another level of artistry. And do you want to tell me what that new level of artistry that you just had begun?
Yeah. So I had went to this I had got commissioned to do another mural a week after news, well, actually a couple of days after the news story had dropped. I went down there. Now this mural was at a tattoo parlor called 912 Inc. And I went in there. I was like, hey, everybody was like amazing, like great. So I went in there and talked to them, and they basically talked me into becoming a tattoo artist. By the time they said, okay, well, I told them, like, okay, I'll give it a try. But one, I'll have to get a tattoo first, just so I know, how it feels. Cause I can't see myself tattooing somebody and I don't even have a tattoo and I don't know how it feels. So they said, okay, well, do you want to do the mural today? And I said, okay. And I completed the mural that day, which is crazy because I've done like works like that before, but it's always crazy. Like, you know, you start something, you finish that same day. It's like, it feels amazing. So I got started I started around 4, finished up around 10 o'clock that night. He ended up giving me a tattoo that says humble beginnings.
Okay.
Humble beginnings, which has a story in itself. But he ended up giving me that tattoo. He took me in the back. We practiced on some tattoo skins, and when I tell you, when I held that needle, when I held that tattoo gun, it just felt natural. It just felt right. And I was like, okay, yeah, I got to give this a try. And I did. I went a couple of days afterwards, tattooed a couple of people, posted the pics online, let them know that I was tattooing, and I was only there for 6 hours. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's amazing. It's amazing. It's like another extension of what I do. I still plan on painting. I still plan on doing murals. But it's just one of those things that's like, okay, like, yeah, I can see myself like incorporating this into what I do.
That's awesome.
Yeah. There's no, I would say, like, out of all canvases that I've worked on, whether it's a building or an actual canvas or, I don't know, floor, I would say the human body is my favorite one.
Okay, now we're running out of time, but I have one final question for you.
Okay.
Do you have a favorite phrase or favorite scripture, and how has it affected your life?
Yes, I do have a favorite scripture, and that is, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I'll even tell you how that scripture became like so imminent in my life. So I used to work at this library. Shout out to Miss Michelle Johnson. She's actually who inspired me to like really take this thing to the next level and actually go for it. Like she's amazing. So I used to work with her. I worked under her, and then I worked alongside another lady who used to be at the library. I would come in during the morning time, and her name was like Miss Denise. I'm so grateful for her. I was talking to her about my art, and just knowing just where I saw myself like going, and she basically wrote down this scripture, and told me to look it up. And I went And I looked it up, and it says I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And she told me that's your scripture. That's what you, if that's what you want to do, you believe in that, and you can do anything that you want to do. And so far, like I can't even explain to you how true that is, because like I've never seen myself, becoming an artist and one succeeding at it. Like honestly, it's even still hard for me to believe that people in the city that I love actually know my name and know who I am. Like when you gotta understand, when you wake up in the morning and you getting ready for work and you go in the living room and your mom and dad is like watching you on the TV, it's like it doesn't feel real. Like it just, I like, man, this feels like a dream. Like I'm like, it never in a million years, if you let me know that they see my work, or that I would be on TV, or that people like magazines would be writing about me. Like I would have said, like, you lied. Like, there's no way. So this is just like I said, this is just a blessing to me. And that's my scripture. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I think one of the things that keeps me grounded and keeps me humble is knowing that that's where my power comes from. It doesn't just come from me. It comes from God. It comes from it comes from Him, because He's the one who's given me this gift, and He's the one who's given me the energy. Because it takes a lot of energy. I ain't gonna lie. It takes a lot of energy to continue to do this and push forward. But I love what I do. I'm continuing to do it, and I don't plan on stopping. I'm just thankful for it.
Mr. Davis, it was a pleasure to have this conversation with you. I love seeing young people evolve, and I know we want to see many more murals of you. And as you know, I sit on the Mural project, so I will be hearing your name and seeing your work around. But I just want to thank you once again for accepting my invitation to a conversation. I loved it. Can you quickly tell us where we can see your murals throughout the city?
You could see it at the let's see, the first one, Black Futures Matter, is actually at 2727 Altima Avenue, Brunswick, Georgia, of course. And then the second one is on the old Ace Hardware building. It's right in the back of the library in Brunswick. So just Google Martians Glen Library. Mm-hmm. And it should come up, the address of that. So yeah, that's where you can see find those two murals at.
And what about the one in 912 Inc.?
Oh, the one in 912 Inc. Oh my God. I can't even think of the address. I can't even think of the address to it. Just Google 912 Inc. and it should come up. It's in the plaza next.
It's in the plaza next to Altima School, right? Where Lucky
It's on Altima. Yeah, it's on Altima. It's right across the street from a Hyundai dealership. So if you're coming down Altima, leaving Target, it'll be on your left hand side.
All right, Mr. Davis. Anytime you have anything in the future that you want to show us, tell us about your next projects, please give me a holler. You know how to inbox me. God bless you and have a blessed day. And thank you.
Thank you.